Hey guys, so if you've seen my recent videos, you'll know that I went out and bought a vintage lugged mountain bike. And I have decided that I'm going to try to build that up actually for myself because I love vintage mountain bikes with that lugged construction. But I want to keep this project on a really low budget. And I had this idea to actually take one of the parts, which is this very unique slingshot stem, and try to sell that on eBay to help fund the build. So I wanted to make a short video of how I go about selling vintage bike parts on eBay and some of the things that I do to try to maximize the money that I'm making and also make sure that I'm selling stuff relatively quickly. So number one is to know what you're selling. If you have a vintage bike part, you want to make sure that first and foremost, you know the make and the model number, you know the measurements, because you can use that information to then go online and do some research about it. So for example, the part that I'm selling is an SR MTS 100 stem. So when we do a search for that, you can see the items that are on sale on eBay right now. And we're looking at the prices here, okay? Looks like we've got $80, $85, $127, but that's actually a slightly different stem. So you want to make sure that you're looking at the same item. This one's $120, $70, $90, $55. So it's somewhere between that like $60 to $100 range. This is what sellers are asking. This does not tell you what buyers are willing to pay, and it's really important to, in my opinion, when you're selling stuff online, to be super realistic and conservative. The best thing that you can do from here is to actually click on filters and then click on sold items, because this is going to show you what people are actually willing to spend. Okay, so you'll see in the first couple of items that the prices are crossed out. That means that there was a best offer that was accepted, and I don't think that you actually get to see what the best offer was. So that's not going to tell us a lot about pricing. But here, this one's sold for $112, but that's also brand new. That's like a new old stock, and mine's not new old stock, so I'm not going to count that. The one after that sold for $175. So that's pretty cool. But the one after that is for $67. Then we have another best offer. The one after that's $70, but that includes the handlebars. The one after that's $32, and then we have $110, but that includes the handlebars. We have $50, $33. We have $100. So everything is all over the map. This one's for $11. So I mean, you have to kind of like take a look at this and see how it compares to your item. I would say that, you know, my item is probably worth around the $50 to $60 range. The next thing you do after you assess what these items are going for is to take a look at how often these items are selling. So you can see the sold date. So we have, we have June and May. So in June, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 items that sold. And then in May, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So about 8 or 9 items sell every month. And this is during, the sort of peak season here in the US. Okay, so we know what the price is going to be, around $60. Let's say we know about 9 of these sell every month. The next thing that we want to do is go ahead and turn off the sold items and look at how many of these items are actually in the market right now. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm not going to count that one. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So roughly 19. And if we think that about 8 or 9 of these move every month, then there's a little bit more than 2 months of stock out there. Like, I want to sell this item like right now. I don't want to wait 2 or 3 months. So I really want to make sure that I'm pricing competitively. And when I'm looking at the comps, most of these people are pricing around the $80 to $100 range. There's a 55, there's a 64, another 85. So I'm thinking that if I come in under $60 or around $60, I'll be in pretty good shape. So the next thing I recommend doing is getting inspiration from the titles and the descriptions of successfully completed sales. So again, we're going to go back into the filter, go into sold items, and take a look at these items that seem to have done well. This one over here, 175, it's definitely an anomaly because we don't see items selling for that much often. But for example, if we look at the original listing, there are a number of things here. We want to make sure that we're going to be capturing that information in the title. Obviously, make sure that information is accurate as far as you know. And then we have a lot of information in the description itself. And I think some really good things that are here are things like sizing. What is the diameter of the stem? In this case, they are selling the handlebars, which actually adds value to this ad, which is probably why they pulled in 175. They're very frank about the oxidation and stuff like that, and that the fact that they send stuff out pretty quickly. The fact that this has handlebars on it, I think for me as a seller is really important, because I'm thinking if I can get $60 for the stem, but then almost an additional $100 for the handlebar, then do I want to just throw the handlebars in there? And so I'm actually going to go ahead and do that, because I'm going to replace the stem and the handlebars anyway. So if we look at other successful ads, again, we see that they use the term clunker. They've got the model name in there, BMX, MTB. There's no downside of being inspired by this. The description here is pretty minimal, so I don't think that there's a lot to learn from there. But let's look at one more. Here we have a description. Again, pretty basic. It also mentions the bike that it was removed from. So I think that this is sort of similar to the diameter information. There might be somebody out there with a Schwinn Sierra who wants to restore it. So there's no downside of including that information as well. So when you have all this, my recommendation is to try to write a title that contains all of that critical information, and also write a good description. I would shoot for like 1 or 2 paragraphs, really get into like sizes, the condition, the bike that it came from, to make a mention that everything's working, that the stem isn't seized in any way, etc. All that information helps, and it'll help you. Now, if writing isn't your thing, you can use ChatGPT for something like this. You can copy a bunch of titles and say to ChatGPT, look, I'm going to give you a bunch of titles for an ad. I want you to synthesize this and give me like the best title I can for an ad that I'm putting up on eBay to sell this. And you can do the same thing for the description too. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about are your photographs. So I'm going to take an example here. This is, I think, a pretty good example of photos that are absolutely good enough. You have a white background or a very plain background where the item stands out. The lighting is good because you don't have like crazy shadows, and it's not too dark. You don't have crazy reflections coming off of the object. We're looking at different kinds of angles. So we had that 3/4 shot. Now it's head on. Now we have a shot like more close up, so you can see the MTS 100. We have a side view so that you can actually see that little stopper at the bottom isn't stuck. We have a view from underneath. There's a little bit of tarnish there. I would have probably cleaned that up. But this to me is as good as you need to be, but you shouldn't be any worse. You want to have a clean background. You don't have to have a big piece of white cardboard or whatever. You can shoot this on your clean floor or on like concrete or on blacktop. But the thing is, you don't want to have a cluttered background, and I'll show you what that looks like. So nothing against this seller, but this is an example, in my opinion, of what not to do. You have like a really cluttered background. There's really no reason to put it on that. And also, I'm just not sure what's going on. Like, did GT partner with Crown Royale? Like, did somebody in the marketing department say, hey, we should partner with those cool dudes? And then someone else said, yeah, what should we make? Well, let's make a red velvet blanket, because that's what GT and Crown Royale is all about. That's an amazing synergy of branding, to be honest with you. Anyway, so here are my issues with these photos. Number one, the background. That's not helping to make this look any better. Number two, like these two photos are kind of redundant. Like you just need one kind of like head-on shot. Also, because of the lighting, because there's like a huge bright light up on the ceiling, probably you get massive reflection, so you can't actually read the writing there. So that's not good. If you're shooting, go for like outdoor light. Wait till like it's cloudy, or wait till like later in the day if you're shooting on like concrete or blacktop, and you're gonna be all good. Here we have a really close-up shot, and you see, I can read Japan, but like I can't read anything else. Over here we have a close-up of the MTS 100, but it's not a great shot because I can't really tell what's going on. Here it's the same shot again, and I don't see why that would even be necessary. Here we have another shot. All of this information could have been conveyed in the ad because we're looking at the diameter. And here's yet another shot of the top. This is actually probably the best. If I had to take one, just keep that. Keep your hands out of the photos. Here's yet another shot of the max depth, and another. So like, I think that, I hope I'm kind of illustrating how like, you want people to get a sense that this is really valuable. And in order to do that, you want to make the item stand out. You want to capture it in a way that is logical, and you do not need to have more photos than is necessary. Yeah, so I guess the last thing that I want to talk about is just, trying to beat the competition. So you can beat the competition on price, and that's going to be sort of my main strategy, which is to price, lower than these other items that are being sold out there. But you can also beat the competition by adding more value for what you're selling. So for example, if I throw in the handlebars and sell a stem for $60, I'm pretty confident that anybody looking for the stem is going to go for that. And in fact, I could probably throw in the handlebars and, sell it for 70 or possibly even 80 and make a good sale. I'm actually going to go even beyond that and throw in the pedals, because I'm not going to need those either. They don't have a lot of value to me. They're actually not worth that much on their own because I've looked. So I think I'm going to try to sell the stem, the handlebars, and the pedals maybe for like $90 to $100. If you think that's an awesome deal, that's exactly the feeling that I want people to experience when they see my ad, and that's how you beat the competition. You don't get greedy, okay? Because once you start posting this up and you take really nice pictures and you've got a really nice ad, mentally you're going to start to feel like you have an object that's a lot more valuable than you originally thought. And it's easy to get into this mindset where suddenly you're like, you know what, I'm going to sell this for $150, but it's not worth $150. Don't fall for that. If you do that and you price it, you're going to have an item that's going to be on eBay for like months, if not a year. Like this is going to be on eBay for a very long time, I'm sure. It's just not worth it. To me anyway. If it's worth it to you, that's cool. But I want to keep things moving so that I can get this money, free it up, and then work on the bike. So that's basically it. That's how I approach it, and I hope this was helpful. I will post up some pictures that I take of the stem and the ad copy, and you can take a look at that. If you enjoyed this video, that's great. Please consider subscribing, leave a comment, hit the like button, and if you're selling stuff out there on eBay, best of luck to you.